Well, first time I've been out for a while. I'm up here. I'm going to head along the Nerang River in the Springbrook National Park and the upper reaches of Nerang River, and just do a bit of exploring and see what we can find. It's an absolute perfect day here today. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning, a little bit late. The sun's getting pretty high. It would have been better to get here earlier, but anyway, I'm here now, and I'm just going to wander up the river and do, like I said, do a little bit of exploring, and you never know what you're going to find, so come along for the ride. Little favourite water and swimming hole here. Been up here a couple of times before. There's usually people swimming there off the rocks. No one here this morning. There's a couple of cars in the car park. She's flowing a little bit. Last time I was up here there was hardly any water flowing, so I don't know how hard it's going to be to wander up the river, but we'll give it a go. I'm going to keep heading. There's no real track up here, but I'm going to go up a little bit further and try to get across over to that side and wander up through the bush along the river up there if I can. So we'll keep on going. Look at this cool big old tree right on the riverbank, grown out of the rocks. God knows how old it is, but it is absolutely massive. Goes right up there, and he's just been growing here. Every time it floods, it gets a little bit more washed away around the roots, but he's hanging on. It's just wrapped around the rocks there. And it's just would be a perfect time to actually come kayaking down the upper part of the Nerang River. At the moment there's a little bit more water than usual. It's not flowing fast. I'm sure there's a few little rapids to have a bit of fun. But at the moment, she's just perfect. I have kayaked down here a number of times, not right up this far. I started down a bit further and went all the way into Nerang, and it was fantastic doing that, but I haven't got a kayak anymore. Might have to get another one. Oh, there's someone up the river having a swim. Still trying to find a spot across. I could get across there, but not with the camera equipment. I'd have to swim. Probably should have went across down to that sandbar back down there, but anyway, we'll keep on wandering. Have to go back up into the bush a little bit.
up with a vine. Good way to get tripped over. Funny, you're out looking for wildlife and you can 100% guarantee you're always going to find the odd wild thong. And here's one right here. She's had a blowout. Someone's probably broken. It's broken on them, so then they give it a flick. But you can always guarantee, if nothing else in the Australian bush, you'll find a wild thong. I hope we find a bit more than that. Just stepped into this little creek bed that comes down to the main river. You never know. Come here with a metal detector after all the rain we've had. You could find some nice little gold nuggets. A little bit of water still trickling. Must go up and under the road. We don't want to wander all the way back up there. How good it'd be just to turn over a few rocks and find a gold nugget. Not today. We're still walking along the edge. I haven't been able to cross the river yet, but I'm at a section where I could have crossed probably, but there's I think it's just an island, because this part of the river here is just broken away from the main Nerang River, so I don't really want to cross here, because if I do, I could get onto that island and just have to come off again, so I'm just going to keep struggling through this thick bush, and hopefully where this little bit joins up with the main river again, we can get across. Not even real hot today, but a beautiful day, but just walking up through here, the humidity is pretty warm, so got to keep the fluids up. Nothing like a bit of water. How awesome would it be to come across a couple of wild platypuses? They'd have to be living up here somewhere, but they usually come out early morning and just before dark, so probably unlikely to see one. But if not many people get up here, they could be out. So that's why it's always good to keep pretty quiet, keep looking ahead, and you never know, you might come across a couple of platypuses. That would be pretty good. This is why normally I like coming just after daybreak. There are a couple of reasons. There's more insect life and everything around. All the dragonflies are just waking up, which are always good to catch before they wake up. And it's not so hot. Check out this. I'm just on the bit of a high side of the riverbank, and up above all these roots here is a massive big tree. So all these roots over time have washed out of the ground every time there's a flood. So eventually it'll probably come crashing down. But look how big it is. Should be 100 metres. Should be able to see in there. It's pretty dark in there. But yeah, more and more just getting washed away. There's pretty awesome big trees on the bank here. Definitely think I'll be jumping in before I finish this walk today. Part of an old car. Maybe a trailer. Looks like a trailer axle. Yeah. Yeah, there's the floor of the trailer. She's seen better days. A couple of footprints here. Someone's been up here. Someone's been up here breaking open some rocks. Maybe looking for fossils. Interesting. There could be fossils in half these rocks, you'd never know. Campfire. Just over in the bush there, in a little tent. So someone's, they've got a kayak, so they're kayaking down the river and camping. What a good thing to do. Back in the shade there. Tent, fresh water. Probably even some fish in here somewhere. And a couple of kayaks. So it doesn't have to be a one-day thing. Just bring a little tent, bit of food, and make it a 2 or 3 day trip. have to buy a kayak. Look at this massive big tree here. I think it's been dead for a long time, but hasn't been long since she's come crashing to the ground. This is just the stump bit here, just ends there, and then this massive big tree that's just come crashing through the bush here. It is enormous. Goes for about another 50 metres that way. She would have made some noise. We're further than halfway along it now. Still just keeps going. Up under there, there's some of the branches off it. But yeah, it goes another 20 metres that way. Oh, wouldn't have liked been standing here when this big thing come down. Easy 100 metres. Amazing. Disappears into the bush, the prickle bushes up there. Comes along here. I'm standing up on it now. Even the old branches are like full trees. We'll do a quick walk along it. Give you an idea how big this thing is. You wouldn't even think there was trees this big just in this little bit of bush here. Like I'm standing on it and I'm 10 foot off the ground. Even though it's dead, if you could haul this out of here and cut it up, there'd be some amazing timber still in the middle of that. So imagine back in the 1800s, they would have cut these down by hand and hauled them up onto the tracks. They wouldn't have even been bitumen roads, just dirt roads with bullock teams. And they would have just cut these up and just hauled them to the timber mill. Wow. I should have bought the machete. Just a whole big patch of prickle bushes I've got to try and fight through. They're right on the bank. This is the other thing you find everywhere you go in Australian bush now, even in national parks. Weeds from overseas. Just come across this old tree, and it's a really good example of what these strangling figs do to trees. The strangling fig has killed the host tree. Once they start strangling it, then the white ants get into it, and it's dead all the way up. If you look up there,
and the fig is wrapped around it everywhere, all the way to the top. So the host tree dies, and the strangling fig lives on for many years. Pretty crazy. Look, up this section. It just wraps itself around and takes over. Right from the ground all the way up. And they're all over the place here. Well, there you go, strangling figs. You've probably seen them before, I'm not sure, but it is pretty interesting how they just come up, wrap around the host tree, and just, in the long run, it dies off. And the fig trees, they just get absolutely enormous. The stagger one's just growing off the rock. Tiny one just starting up there. No, I really don't think we're going to be able to get through here, carrying the camera and stuff. It's just all prickle bushes right up through there, and then it's all rocks right up there. So, and drop straight to the river. Can't get around in the water, it's too deep. So I might give up for the day and head off back along, because it'll take a couple of hours to get back. Just take me time. So, well, we didn't really find much wildlife, but it's fun getting out, gets me back into it again, and I'll keep doing it. So stay tuned for the next one.